Hey, Rifters, welcome to the show. We're doing the opening remarks. Victor is here having
Hey,
technical
thanks for having me.
difficulties. Oh, he says here, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. Still having technical difficulties.
I There's no technical difficulties. I
Uh,
literally it says recording in progress. Press OK, and it's like and mute your microphone. And I'm like, my microphone's not muted like at all. There's no
uh,
struggles. It was a brain
Wait, Victor,
difficulty.
we actually might have technical difficulties. Oh, okay, never mind. Because it said your name was in red. Now it's in yellow. What does that mean? Now it
I,
says
I,
white.
it says white or there's a color white to it.
No, yeah, yeah. You're color white, Victor Pacheco, so you're good. I think white means you're good.
I hope so. I
Yeah.
knew I wasn't good earlier. I think the red was probably like, oh, he's
I
on mute.
I do know red means bad.
Look, I'm gonna mute my mic right now.
Yeah, you're on red.
Okay, cool. No,
Okay.
I'm not. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
You
nice.
know how I know red means bad?
Why, Keith?
Has red ever meant anything good?
What
I
about the
mean,
Red Cross?
that's bad. You're bleeding on a cross, right? You're
Jesus.
bleeding, right? Have you ever
Jesus Christ, Keith.
have you ever had herpes or something? They're all red, right? That's bad.
No, mine are purple. That's
Okay, you know
weird.
what? Purple, red, same.
No, I'm just kidding, man. That was funny. I didn't even try to mean for that to happen,
Uh,
but dude, when you combine red with brown, you make purple.
yeah,
Or no, red with blue. Red with blue. Sorry, I'm just
red with
fucking
blue.
red with blue makes purple.
All right.
Maybe
Well,
violet. I don't know.
we got a great guest today. You've seen her on Grounded for Life. You've seen her on Rules of Engagement, which is probably my favorite TV show of all time, sitcom wise. And you've seen her on The Ranch, which I was watching last week. And I think that that's a very, very funny show. It has Sam Elliott and Ashton Kutcher, and it was a very funny show. And she's going to be here on Razor Riffs via Zoom. Megyn Price, she's going to be here. It's going to be great. And hey, so did you see that thing I tagged you on Facebook with?
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't that funny? Stall for a little while. I turn on the light, so just say, "Oh yeah, that was funny," or "No, that wasn't funny," or yeah, do your thing.
Keith, man, I would have gotten the hint when you got up and left. That's pretty funny. I'm glad Keith is making me really earn my keep as co-host
Ah,
here.
way better.
Yeah, so I don't know what just happened off the mic, but definitely
Ah,
too short of a duration to have cranked one out, unless Keith was really excited to see me, which I doubt he was that excited. Um,
and I'm back. All right.
we can hear you breathing and shit hella close up to the mic. You're
Oh,
like,
really? Dude, this COVID
and
just
I'm
will
back.
this COVID just will not go away, man.
I, I
Like,
don't I don't think that's COVID, dude. I think that's your microphone pickup, dude. That's not a bad thing.
oh, so you're saying my microphone has COVID?
Your microphone caught COVID from you. Yes,
No.
absolutely. You definitely have COVID and you gave it to your microphone and now it's giving it to you back. Like herpes, you ever get herpes and then you give it back to them?
Victor, I was making a joke about the herpes.
I'm just kidding. You're making a
Uh,
joke about COVID too.
okay. We
Oh,
shall
Jesus.
forget all these real issues and go back to the fake issues. Hey, did you see
Sure.
that thing I tagged you on Facebook? That was funny, wasn't it?
Which one? You tagged me on a couple of things. The most recent thing?
Yeah, like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, no, I did not see that.
You gotta watch it real fast. Real fast. Let the rifters hear it. It is so
Jesus Christ. How long have I been tagged in this?
it's
Jesus Christ, Keith. What the fuck, bro? This is not funny. Jeez. How do I attack myself? Oh my God. How do I attack myself? I can't attack myself. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Dude, Keith, you are a fucking monster, bro. Dude, you
uh,
are a monster.
dude, when I first saw that, I spit out my coffee. I was like, oh my god. That was the highlight of my day.
Wow, dude, that guy must have really fucked him over.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Um,
But I don't want to like we could talk about that at a different time because
Oh
this is
yeah,
a
like
professional podcast. And basically, for the folks at home, here's the deal: there's the comic who has a disability, and he
oh my god. Keith, don't open with that. Don't open with that. There's a guy. He's a dick.
no, no,
And
no,
like,
no, no.
it
We're
doesn't
not
matter
going to
that he's.
say that. No, there's a comic who has a disability, cerebral palsy, and he's just kind of bullyish towards other comics.
Dude, you called
And
him a bully. I said he was a dick. Why can't you just say dick? I'd
I
rather
think
be a dick than a bully. That's for fucking sure.
okay, maybe we'll just edit this out because
No, I can say he's.
I'm not trying to.
I will speak from the heart.
Okay,
I
okay,
know Joe personally, and
okay.
okay, it's one thing like I'll let him hit my shit, but then he wants me to hold it while he hits it. I'm like, you want me to suck your cock too? And so, I thought that was like, like, dude, like literally, I mean, I will hold it for him, but I'm just like, dude, you throw something down, bro. Don't you have medical weed? Get
Yeah.
medical, you know what I mean? Like, if anyone should have medical weed, it's him. And I got
Okay.
medical grade weed.
So let's
Any rate,
fast forward to this. So basically, he's been blackballed by every comedy club by his actions, and he's way
allegedly,
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 allegedly, and then
there we go.
he made a GoFundMe for the comedy store so they could put like a bridge or something so other handicapped comedians can perform there at a safe space. And to his credit, I like the idea, but also if you give money to a venue, it's not going to change their booking policies. Like they're still never going to book you. So I think you're working hard for nothing. You know what I mean?
Well,
That's
I
just
mean,
my feelings.
is this just to get on stage or is this to get into the belly room upstairs?
I have no idea, man.
Because
This
that's
whole
like I have no idea either.
I don't pay attention to this drama thing. I just see it when it comes up on my feed. And
No,
it's
no, no,
like,
because there was that same thing happen at the punchline with yet a different comic who wanted to get a ramp for the wheelchair, and somebody was telling me, not gonna say who, but that they actually made a ramp, and then that this comic doesn't even go there anymore to hang out or try to get up on Sundays. And
oh
I
my
was just
God.
like, whoa, how much was that ramp? And then I think he said it was like 12 grand. I'm like, the fucking punchline ponied up or Live Nation ponied up 12 grand to
So
make a ramp.
they actually made a ramp.
They made a ramp that you could go on stage. And dude, I've tripped getting on stage as a fat guy. And there's like six stairs, but like the stairs are like they're like weird and like they're short.
Yeah.
They're like really short, and so like I got big feet and I'm fat and I'm clumsy. So like I've like tripped, and like
Well,
it would have been embarrassing, but like I'm just like hey, so
yeah.
like this is
Yeah.
part of my set, dude. I walked out on stage like it must have been like 45 seconds late after they called my name because I was upstairs and I was like, yeah, this guy's gonna do X amount of time. He didn't do his time, and then like when I got on stage, I just acted really out of breath, and I'm like, man, those were like really big 6 steps. And
Yeah.
like, dude, people thought that I did that on purpose, like to be funny, when I really missed my cue.
Right. No,
So,
I get that. There's a comedian who I'm going to look him up right now because I want to say it's Dick Shawn, but I'm not 100%. Yeah. So there was a comedian named Dick Shawn, and he died while doing stand-up comedy. And like he was telling a joke, he was like knock knock, falls on the floor dead, and everyone thought it was a joke for like 20 minutes.
oh
So
yeah, wait, isn't that on video?
it is on video. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've seen that before. That's an old clip. That's really fucking sad.
Yeah.
God, and then yeah, people think that you're joking. It's just like you go up there and be like, "Yeah, so my mom died." Like that's hilarious. I'm like, not really, fucking.
But you
But
know
then again,
what's
why would you mention it?
yeah, but you know what's sad about Dick Shawn is he died on a bad joke.
Did he?
I don't know. I was just making a bad joke. I haven't seen the
No,
clip in
I was
forever.
no. I really thought I thought you were just like, yeah, man. It really irked me when he said da da da, and it was just not funny. And I'm like, wow, that you must have. Were you rooting for him to die? Like, you
Wow.
know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. I don't want anyone to die, and I don't want anyone to have a bad set. I really don't want people to have a bad set, especially if I'm there,
If I
because
ever
that I
die,
get bored.
if I ever die, I want to die doing stand-up comedy.
Keith, why would you want that to happen? You're gonna fuck up the whole show. That's why I would not want to die. I'd like to die immediately following a
Not if
show.
I'm headlining.
Dude, they're not gonna pay you. Not because you're
No,
dead,
I
but because
know.
you didn't do your time
I wonder if the club will refund the tickets.
and still pay the comic's family. Probably not.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Pay
Probably
my
not.
family.
Yeah, yeah, it's just like if I die during your show, please pay my family. They're gonna be like, fuck you. We had to refund everyone's tickets and comp their drinks. You fucked us over hella money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my
These
bad.
are very dark opening remarks. We might have to
You know what's funny? No, dude, this is like the realest, dude. Like, there's been so many gems.
we might yeah, we might have to edit this because our guest is a good Christian girl and we're
Oh yeah,
talking.
let's re-record this then right
Yeah.
back.
So we're gonna Rifters, ignore this.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Press record.
All right, got it. Excellent.
Uh, uh, uh. Hi.
Ah, hi, Megyn Price. How are you?
Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late. I was looking for my fancy microphone.
Oh, no worries. We were just having heart attacks. It's all good.
Sorry, I don't like to give people checks. I don't think that's right. Do you hear me fine on this mic, or do you want my fancy microphone?
We hear you fine. Whatever one you want to do.
Well, this one I have to be like Mariah Carey with my.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
But it's good. It's good if there's an echo, because echoes drive me bananas. Like on podcasts, if I hear that ratty audio, I'm like, fuck you. Nope, not listening.
Megyn, thank you so much for doing this because I know that you don't really do a lot of press stuff. Like you're very picky on stuff.
I don't, but you won me over when you're like, look, dude, sorry, my dog is very codependent. And you were like, look, man, I have Asperger's. It's fine if you say no, but you have to tell me something, because otherwise I'm going to go out of my tree. So I have so many friends that are on the autism spectrum. I mean, I don't know if I am. I diagnosed myself many times, but it's like, it's just so transparent. It's like, just say what is. It's way easier to deal with when you just say what is. So few people are like that, especially in our business.
Yeah. Well,
I really appreciated it.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, I get a lot of no's, so no's don't hurt my feelings, but ignorance does.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
I put this mug on self-tape now, which is just the third rung of hell as far as I'm concerned. I'm not supposed to have to make home videos to audition for a movie. But inevitably, no one says shit to you. You just, sorry, can I curse?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I work, do you know how hard it is to do a self-tape? You have to do all the study, the prep, you have to get somebody to read with you. It's a whole big thing. You got to do your own lighting, your own wardrobe. You got to make a movie.
Yeah.
4 hours minimum, to get all this stuff. And then you send it away and you hear nothing. Ever. Or you're like, oh, they put a pin in you for a pin in me.
What does that mean?
Voodoo?
I get jobs now because people will just go, oh, hi, I love you. Do you want to do this thing? It's like, yeah, but that's not how it worked. Forever, you could go into rooms with strangers and then meet new people and be like, oh, let's all work together. This seems like it's going to be a good thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually very proud of myself that I got you because I don't know if you remember me, but I've met you about 20 times because, because my adopted uncle is Pat Warburton.
Shut up! You've met me 20 times.
Yeah, I've seen Rules of Engagement.
You come to the show?
Yeah, I've been 20 times. So I was very proud because I didn't ask Pat to put in a good word. I just did it myself. So I was yeah.
Did you go in the front row and did you stay and talk?
Yeah. I have an autograph from you. I
was gonna say, okay. Yeah.
Keith had receipts.
Bananas.
I collect autographs before I started podcasting. Now I collect podcasting. But yeah. I have like
great.
200.
Wasn't that such a fun show?
Oh yeah, it was great. See, Megyn Price right here.
Look at that. There's me.
Yeah. It says, thanks for your autism, Megyn Price.
It does not.
No, I know. But Megan, I wanted to ask you because I took classes at the Groundlings about
Oh yeah.
8 years ago, and I remember my teacher. I don't know if this is true, but my teacher said you were a student. Is that true?
I did take classes at Ground. Who was your teacher?
It was some guy who wrote on Mad TV. He wrote one episode. I want to say it was Chris Horgan or something. I don't know, but
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I definitely took classes there. Yeah.
yeah,
I've never laughed harder with people that I did not know than when I did Groundlings. Like I can still remember bits that people did from those classes. And one of the guys in my class was the guy that created 1-800-DENTIST. Do you remember that?
the commercials.
Yes, the commercials. He was a dentist. His name was Fred Joyle. I think he's still around. I think Patrick maybe knows him. He just like sold his company for millions of dollars and just started taking classes at the Groundlings.
Oh my God.
I'm like, wait, do you want to be a comedian? He's like, no, I just think it's fun to like do something.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
thought he wanted to be a dentist.
Yeah, no, and then he's just sitting on a mountain of cash since he sold his great idea.
Oh,
So the dog is clearly not just part of the interview. So
well, I have some questions and they might be like back and forth a little from different times, so I apologize.
that's
But
okay. I lived in all of the times, so I get it.
Awesome. I wanted to ask about Grounded for Life because I thought that was a great TV show. But I remember when it first started, it was all about like flashbacks, and at that time, a lot of shows weren't doing flashbacks. Where compared to now, 90% of the shows are doing flashbacks.
No, we were the first. Like
Yeah.
we were the first. And then there were a couple other shows that came after that tried to say like, oh, we did this first, but no way. That was definitely from the minds of our creators, Bill Martin and Mike Schiff. One of them's definitely high most of the time, and I won't tell you which one. And they're the greatest, like they're just the greatest creative minds because one of them is linear and the other one's like, what if,
Yeah.
like what if we got the Ramones to do the things? No, you can't get the Ramones. He forgets the Ramones. Like it was yeah, nuts. And that's why that show is so great because they're such a great writing team and they balance each other so well. And there were no rules. They just had no rules. I mean, our director was the director from Kids in the Hall and
Yeah.
SCTV. His name was John Blanchard. And the greatest thing about John Blanchard, like directors go into meetings, to like get a job, right?
Right.
And you say, well, the movie's about, a guy who's suspended from an airplane. And then the director's like, yeah, here's how we're going to do it. We're going to get this. We're going to get Crane. We're going to do this. John Blanchard would come in. He was this old chain smoking Canadian who'd worked with everybody, like Eugene Levy, John Candy, all the kids in the hall. And he'd sit there smoking and they'd go, so John, we're going to tell it in flashbacks. And we're probably going to have to like drive a car through a thing. And he'd go, oh, probably won't work. I probably can't do that. And then he would do it. Like every time. He would so undersell himself. And you'd just be like, John Blanchard, how did you do that? Like he would just get magic out of the wind.
Yeah.
And talk to little kids. Like he was this curmudgeonly old dude. He could talk to little kids like this magic, weird, scruffy Mary Poppins. He was unbelievable.
Oh my God, that's awesome. So do you think like when you first got the pilot and stuff and like the first season when you were doing it, did you think that like were you scared that maybe the storytelling and the jokes weren't going to hit until after it started becoming a thing?
Okay, Keith, I'm not normal.
Okay.
I had done a show first I did a show with Greg Giraldo, who I don't know if you are too young to have known him.
Oh yeah,
We love Greg
Victor's
Giraldo.
favorite comic.
Yeah, he's top 3 of all time.
All
time.
He was one of my really, really good friends, and I loved him so much. And we did a show together. He's a terrible actor, and he knew it. And like 5 minutes into the show, they're like, "Oh shit, he can't act." So they started trying to give the show to me, And we were like, I don't know what to do. And he would be delivering his lines, but then he would like turn to the audience and do it because he couldn't not be a stand-up.
Right.
It was so funny. So from that show, I got cast on this show with Al Franken that was shooting in New York, and it was ridiculously good. And then that got canceled because of like political blah, blah, blah. It's sort of like Greg's in my show was terrible, so it got canceled. But the Al Franken show was unbelievably good, high quality.
Yeah.
And because the head of NBC turned over, the new guy didn't want the old guy's stuff. And so they just canceled the old guy's shows, even though the show was like number 3 or something. So because of that experience, I was like, forget it. I'm not doing TV anymore. I'm not doing it. Like,
Yeah.
no way. It sucks. I'd rather just do plays. I'm not doing it. And then I read the script for Grounded for Life. And I had said no to everything.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm not doing that. I don't want to be the girlfriend. I don't want to be the wife. And I read Grounded and I was like, oh, this is weird. This is weird. And I loved Kevin Corrigan. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't have any words to describe what a giant fan I was of Kevin Corrigan because he's so weird. And so I went in to meet on it. And then I met Donald Logue, who's not as weird as Kevin, but my perfect brand of weird.
Right.
So I was like, can we do this? Like, we're not sitcom people. Can we do this? And they're like, I don't know. They're giving us money. I guess we're going to do it. So our first day of shooting, which was the next day after I got hired, we're like driving go-karts around, and they're not normal go-karts because they're all low rent. So they have to fire them up with actual fire. There's
Yeah.
like an explosion that starts with go-karts. I was like, this is just going to be a ball. I never thought about where the show's going. If the jokes I was laughing the whole time. Like, all the jokes were written for me. And I was never looking at the future of the show. I just wanted to keep working with those people, like, no matter what.
Yeah.
And they're still like, Donald and Kevin are still my deepest friends. So yeah. And Richard Reilly, who was on, we had like such great people on that show.
Yeah. And Mike Vogel.
Oh yeah, Mike Vogel, that was so funny. He was like the new like teen beat guy when but Brad Harrison was just like a total discovery and amazing. And yeah. My friend is married to Stephen Root, and I always just go, hey, your boyfriend's my daddy, because he played my dad. None of us were old enough to be playing each other's parents. I was like 9 or 10 years older than Lindsay, who played my daughter.
Oh yeah, but so that's the cool thing about TV magic, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, nobody cared. Like, I was pregnant for half of Rules of Engagement, had these massive boobs. No, like, they just didn't even address it. They're just like, oh well, I guess she's fat this year. Like, the uterus. I mean, it was so crazy. Magic TV.
Victor, did you want to ask Megyn the Greg Giraldo question before we move on?
Well, that show was Common Law, and I was wondering if you have any cool Greg Giraldo stories.
Oh my God, I have a million Greg Giraldo stories. Let's see. Well, this one's super obviously politically incorrect because that's Greg. In those days, which was, I think, 1842, when we did that show, they used to have these like national, you had to go on these press tours.
Yeah.
So we thought we were very fancy because we got to fly for free. We also had to fly in the back in coach. Like, it was not fancy. And I'm pretty sure we were like drunk everywhere we went, because that was also like the time. I don't know, we were in our 20s. So they send us across the country to promote the show. Like, we have to go to ABC in Baton Rouge and ABC in Des Moines and ABC in Raleigh, North Carolina. And you go to these like meet and greets. And it was me and Greg and Drew Carey and Shelley Fabaret.
Oh my God.
Coach and like 1,000 years old. So she was probably my age now, but at the time she seemed very old.
It seems like 1,000 back then. Yeah.
She was not partying. And like Drew and Greg and I were just drunk the whole time, like dancing with the mayors, and I was on the tables, and like it was terrible and fun. And Greg had a thing that in every city we would go to, it's so bad. If there was like the weatherman and he was Black, Greg would go, oh, Mr. Cosby, it's such an honor to meet you. And he would totally straight face for the whole thing. And then if there was like a Latino guy who walked up to me and he'd go, oh, you've been my role model. You've been my this. Mr. Oh, who was his guy? Who was his Latino guy? Oh, he would just say Luis. He would just say Luis. He would say Luis. And then he looked at me, he would go, you know, Luis from Sesame Street. It was pivotal. He would and I would stand next to him like, are you kidding me? You lowball me with that. I couldn't keep a straight face ever.
Yeah.
It was so terrible. And I was like, we're going to get punched and knocked out all the time. And Greg would go, what? It's funny.
Yeah. Well, you also have worked with a lot of great stand-up comedians like Greg, and you did a movie with Larry the Cable Guy, and you worked with David Spade. So like you've worked with all these stand-ups. How do you because you always pick it off on them. How did you learn that? You know what I mean?
I didn't learn all my friends. I mean, I had a ton of friends who were stand-ups. I still have a ton of friends who were stand-ups.
Oh, nice.
Because all the big stand-ups started when I was starting.
Right.
And the really smart ones are the ones that are really fun to be friends with. And the really smart ones are the ones who end up being huge.
Yeah.
It's like the smart ones that keep it together, that don't get kind of lost on the road, which, you're a stand-up. That's a rough life. That's tough. I mean, it was tough to be friends with Greg because Greg never stopped writing. So we'd be talking and I would just see this look and I'm like, are you about to pitch me a bit? Or are you using this for a bit later? Like it was always, and a couple of my other friends, I'm friends with, well, I don't want to drop names, but I'm friends with other people who are comics. And every so often you can just go come on.
Yeah. No,
or we'd have a conversation or an experience and then I'd hear it, in a whatever,
yeah.
in a bit. So some of that's tricky, but no, I love comics. My whole family is a bunch of girls and just so smart, funny. And my mother, oh my God, she was the funniest human being on the planet. She was not normal. There was nothing about her that was normal. She's just so great.
Oh my God. Well, hey, Megyn, if I ever get my own sitcom, I want you to be my mom on it because I think that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, love to.
Okay. You got
the funny thing is that when I was doing Grounded, I think I wasn't even 30, maybe I was 29 or 30. I had people crawling out of the woodwork going, if you do that, you're going to ruin your career. You can't be a mom on TV. I was like, really? Because this is not a normal mom. This is. And then my bosses were like, you're the original MILF. I'm like, okay. Yeah. No, because being a mom is not you don't have to, please.
Yeah. And then I wanted to ask you about Mystery Alaska because I think that's a great movie. And I don't know if this was your first movie, but your scenes mostly were with Russell Crowe. And I thought that's pretty. So how is that? Because you're used to being the funny girl and then you're doing a movie about hockey. You know what I mean?
Well, I always did drama. I mean, I happen to be a funny person. So I was dating this guy when I was an investment banker and he wrote a play and he's like, I need somebody who's good looking and funny. And I know you act sometimes, but not for your job. Will you just do this play? And then a bunch of casting directors saw me in the play. So they're like, oh, she does comedy, but I always did drama. So when I got Mystery, it was so weird. I was not supposed to get that part. I was not even going to go to the audition.
Really?
And I was dating this crazy dude who was living in Matt McConaughey's house in Malibu. Yeah, there's my past. And I go, I'm going to this audition. She's supposed to be a big fat girl. And she's supposed to be this and she's supposed to be that. And he goes, I don't know. Why don't you just show up? I was like, that sucks. So I have a beach dress on. I put my hair in a knot on my head and I didn't want to be there.
Right.
And I walk in and the part is to be attacking, I think Ron Eldard's character. I think that was the audition.
Right.
Is I was supposed to attack him. And then there's some line where I say are you okay? Can you get up? Which on the page looks like, oh no, are you okay? Can you get up? But I was so over it that I go, are you okay? Can you get up? That. And the director, Jay Roach, starts scream laughing and he goes, I don't care how this part is written. I want you in my movie. That is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And whatever else. So they rewrite the movie for me, supposedly, but none of it went out to the cast. So when I arrived halfway through shooting, they all thought that this big fat nerdy girl was going to come through the door because that's how she was originally written, as this sad, girl that gets taken advantage of. And I walk in to their half shoot party, right? It's at a bar in Calgary, in the middle of the winter, I don't know. And across the room, Russell Crowe gets up and he comes straight over to me, looking at me like he's about to eat me. And he goes, "You're not fat." And I go, "Thank you." And he starts to like kind of put the moves. And I go, "Whoa, whoa, 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 Mr. Movie Star. I will hang out with you. I will drink whiskey with you. I am never having sex with you. Never."
Right.
And he goes, "You're the fucking coolest girl ever." And that was it. And then he was my friend Hector, because it was all these like crazy, horny hockey boys.
Right.
You know, there were a couple that were fine to be in my business, but I'm just saying, for the most part, I was like, "Leave me alone, dudes. Like, I just do my thing." And Russell always looked after me. He was so kind. And he had all these bad raps of people like trying to get him drunk and trying to get him pissed off and trying to get him. Was he a drunk? Yeah. But he stopped at the time he was supposed to and showed up to set on time and did his job and was not drunk on set. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
we had
yeah.
issues off set, but he was a total professional and was so kind to me. And so such a fucking good actor too.
Yeah. I would have said what, like, if I met him, I would have been like, hold on. I'm dating Matthew McConaughey's crazy roommate. So
Oh, he wasn't a roommate. He was a squatter who, like, Matt McConaughey just let him live it. I mean, it was
Holy
yeah,
shit.
don't date actors. That's a whole other story, yes. Especially brooding actors that you're like, "I'm sure this is a good idea."
yeah. I wanted to ask you about working with Tom Hurts, who I think is one of the best comedy writers of all time. So
Yeah.
like, how is that? Because whenever I went to the tapings, even the episodes he didn't write, he was at every single one, like pitching stuff.
Oh yeah. But I mean, like in multi-camera comedy, all the writers write all the episodes.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, you put your name on an episode, but everybody's writing together, you know, and especially on show night, like everybody's pitching with everyone else. I've known Tom forever, like since I lived in New York, actually doing my first show, but he has this one bit that we all love repeating, where I'm sure you've seen it because it's one of his classic Tom bits, where he says, being in a marriage, it's like there has to be an equalization of happiness.
Right.
So if you start your day and you're up here, your wife will make sure that you are at equal.
That's true.
So true. It's so true. There will not be one person in this relationship who is happier than the
Yeah.
other.
But I think that's why Rules of Engagement worked though, because like I actually thought that I think it's the best show on on sitcom. Like I wasn't really a big Friends guy. I thought Rules of Engagement was way better than Friends.
It was
know?
smart. I mean, it
Yeah.
was smart. And it was also the travesty for us, Jesus, is he's just very needy right now.
It's all right.
Like we just always had to turn over our writing staffs because CBS would never give us a solid pickup. They would pick us up for mid-season and then wait and then pick us up for mid-season, despite our numbers, despite how we performed. So there was one year that literally our entire writing staff, except for Tom, went to Modern Family, this brand new show that was
Oh
on
my God.
So then we went to the Emmys that year and it was like all our writers are all nominated for Modern Family because they had to leave our show because we were the pickup. So, they have to feed their kids and pay their rent and they left. And it's nuts when you look at like, that's really a testament for Tom, for keeping the continuity of the show. And for our directors and, everybody, because we kept having turnover of writing staff and it's really tricky because they're the ones writing our voices. So, and we always had a very open door policy between actors and writers, like we all tried to be helpful in situations rather than, I think there's a cliche on some shows. I've never been on a show like this, but there are shows where actors are like, "This is lazy writing. I don't want to do this," and like blaming writers for stuff. I've never worked on any show that was like that.
Yeah.
Thank God. Because that's not, that isn't how it works. It's like we're all trying to make it funny. So
No, definitely. And then I wanted to ask you about directing because I know you I think you directed one or two episodes.
Yeah, I directed one of Rules and it was great. That's definitely a part of my brain. Like that's this half.
Yeah.
This half is the crazy monkey actor who just, is in the moment and can't even tell you what just happened because I have no idea. My mom would go, "Remember that episode where you," and I'd go, "No, I never did that."
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. It's on tape. I'm like, I have no memory of what you're talking about. That's
Right.
like a whole different. Yeah. But the directing side is I'm also a writer. And so the writer director, that makes sense because it's, pretty cerebral, kind of outside the experience of it person. So when I was directing, I was the shittiest actor because I'm like in the scene, but then I'm seeing it from over here. So I had to make this like conscious decision to like make all the decisions for the cameras and all that stuff before. And then the instructions are with the camera people, and then just go do the scene.
Yeah.
Because the first couple scenes, I was like, oh my God, I'm ruining the show by being in it.
Well, that's what I was going to ask because, like, I would think that's probably the hardest thing to do to direct yourself and act it, at the same time.
Yeah,
like, I think that's so impressive that people do that.
It is, and it's astounding to me that people do it. I just was talking to Eric McCormick from Will and Grace, and he directed himself, and he said he had a ball and he loved doing it and all this stuff. And I was like, but didn't you feel like it took you out of the acting?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm a pretty like self-critical actor anyway, which I'm not. I'm way critical afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't get stage fright. Do you have this when you do stand-up? Like, I don't get nervous before, but after I do it, I go, oh, you such a loser. You did that totally wrong. You could have done it like this. You could have done it like this. Afterwards, when you can do nothing about it.
Yeah. I don't have that because like I it's hard for me to talk to like two people at the same time, but I could talk to a room full of people like that. And I think that's just how I was trained in comedy because I toured with Norm Macdonald for 9 years. So like I knew how to handle situations like that. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. I remember the first time I saw Norm Macdonald. He was at the Improv in LA. Nobody else in the room except me and my weirdo friends got it. Like nobody got it. He was at the front. He's like, so, last night I had some fish sticks. And he just keeps like rubbing his belly every so often. And it's just, he goes,
what he does.
He goes, serving size. I'll give you the serving size on a fish stick, And every so often he'll just like rub his belly and they'll go, 72. That's how many were in the box. Like we're scream laughing. Like we cannot breathe because he's so not linear. He's just like, so I go up to him afterwards. I think I'm 22. Yeah. I think 100 pounds soaking wet and all push-up bra, but not like that. Like it's just, he totally thinks I'm hitting on him and I'm not hitting on him. You know what I mean? I'm so genuinely thrilled about how funny he is. And he was like, all right, so I gotta get it. And I was like, no. I'm just saying like, I'm so misunderstood.
You know what's so funny about that story is I swear God is my witness. Victor, did I not just have a conversation with you about this 20 minutes
this
ago?
Was very I was like, Keith was there, but I don't think he was. Keith was there. Like I mean, Keith told me a very, very similar story. And that is so on brand. I feel like you all cooperated before the podcast to have you say that.
So funny.
Keith has set me up like that in the past, but like, oh, he tricked. We were at a comedy show and he tricked me into believing one of the people in the audience was a fellow comic. And he had me for an hour and a half. And
I love that.
So I thought maybe I was like, wait, did Keith talk to her before the podcast? Like, make sure to bring up this story because he went to depths to really screw with me. Like the guy had a name. I was like, because it really looked like the guy. It really looked like a comic we both know. And so he really got me. I was like, yeah, I think he just shaved off his goatee. That's it. That's
worth it. I love the long game.
Oh.
Megyn, can I give you an air high five Zoom? I wanted to ask you about the ranch. I thought that was a very very fun character, but also very sad character because there's a big drug problem in this world. And I thought that you played that pretty funny and then good. So I wanted to know what was that like because I don't think you've ever experienced with drugs or thing. I mean, I don't know, but I don't think you have. You know what I mean?
No, I haven't. I have a I have an older brother who's dead of a drug overdose, and I don't really ever talk about that. But
Oh my God. I'm so
I'm sorry to
sorry.
hear that.
yeah, he was a lot older and he was wildly educated. I mean, he was a Stanford grad, went to Stanford Law School. Like he was the biggest lesson in like drugs don't care. Greg's another lesson in drugs don't care. They don't
Oh,
care how
God.
smart you are. I mean, addiction does not care.
Yeah.
And so that character was just supposed to be fun, 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 and dick jokes. All the like that was it.
Yeah.
And it was also supposed to be one episode as a favor to Ashton. Like that was it. Like we'd known each other for a really long time and we thought it would be a funny gag that, you know, Danny had some big crush on me. That's not for a discussion right now.
Yeah.
And so wouldn't that be funny that like I'm the person that comes down from the downstairs because I was the MILF for the 70s show kids. So they all, yeah, although they were also 2 years younger than I was the MILF. Anyway, so that it was just meant to be like this one-off for the audience and they would laugh and I would come down and I'd play this, you know, Ashton's girlfriend's mom for one episode.
Yeah.
And it just like clicked and the audience went crazy and then the producers went crazy and they were like, wait a minute, this could be a really good story line. And then as they got to know me, they were like, wait, you can do like you can actually act. So this is very helpful. Like you can just be also a regular person. And they wanted to tell the opioid story and they weren't quite sure how to do it because it was all over Time Magazine and all over the place, just how many people were dying.
Yeah.
Like going from OxyContin to heroin because it was cheaper to like really fucked up heroin that was a lot cheaper and then dying.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Oklahoma and that story, I mean, all over the place in Oklahoma.
Oh,
And
really? Wow.
we're like switching from the opioids to meth and then I mean, that's it. So they wanted to tell the story and they knew about my family and I said, it's really close to home for me. It's also really important. And I don't know how we're going to tell it, but I trust you guys. And they were so good. Jim Patterson and that whole group are Jim in particular can like write real people and then write fun. So he can, you know, he can write real stories and then they're real funny in the midst of it. I do not know how he made heroin addiction funny, but he managed to. You know, there were certain moments that we'd be, I didn't eat for 2 years, which was awful. Because I was like constantly trying to be like, so you could see my bones and my arms and stuff. So I'd be like, all right, I'll be skinny. And I would like run up and down the stairs before we do scenes and all that. It was very painful and awful. And I hated it. And I hated every minute of shooting it. I hated every bit of it. And I loved the work that came out of it. But I hated the experience of it. I hated it. It felt so awful. And I could burst into tears right now, even just thinking about it, because that terror that you're not going to be able to get well is something that I heard from Greg 2 days before he went into a coma.
Oh my God.
Him saying, you know, I can decide not to punch my kids in the face when I wake up in the morning and I don't punch my kids in the face.
Right.
And I can decide to not drink and by noon I'm drunk. So what does that mean? And he's like, that tells me it's not willpower. And it's not willpower. You know, addiction is it's bigger than your brain. It's just bigger. It's bigger than your logical brain. And I think the only thing that works is a group. Like the only thing that works is a group. Is other people who say, I've been there. I know what it is. I got to this side. I can help you get to this side. I can show you. And that's it. That's the only thing that works. So there was a scene in the ranch where I had to be in a car in the rain. And Dax Shepard is dropping me off at rehab. And we had done the scene a couple times and he's supposed to hand me something, a journal or something, you know, something he's supposed to hand me. And then I just lost it in the car. And it wasn't scripted, this one piece where he was just like, what are you afraid of? And I said, I'm afraid of not being able to do it. I'm afraid of being right back here.
Yeah.
And then we just sat there for a minute and it just hit me. My brother tried rehab. My brother tried every group. I heard Andy Dick one time of all people, like Andy Dick is like.
Well, you got Andy Dick stories, Megan.
Right. I have a few Andy Dick stories too. But Andy Dick, I remember this one interview he did where somebody said, "Oh, this last rehab, you were real serious about getting sober." And Andy, he got really quiet and he goes, "Every rehab I've ever gone into, I wanted to get sober."
Yeah.
Like people who haven't dealt with it, they don't get it, that it's hopeless terror, that you can't stop and you can't keep going.
Yeah.
And that point is hopeless terror. There's nowhere to go in that. And you got to just jump and hope the net appears.
Yeah.
And if the net is, other people who've been through it, who walk you to the other side. And I think the way that they tackled it in the ranch was really thoughtful. And it wasn't, you didn't know where it was going. Like I never
No.
knew it was going to be alive from week to week. Not me, Megyn, but
The
her, we
character,
didn't
yeah.
know like if she was going to be alive. And they needed me to be one of the, not the series regulars, like because they could kill me at any point. So when you're watching it, you don't know, you don't know if I'm going to die. They're not going to kill Ashton. Although
Yeah.
they did. Yeah, so.
Well, yeah, well, thank you so much for sharing that. I know that was a tough answer, and thank you so much. I thought that was a great answer, though. So.
I just think, well, thank you, but I think it's really important that we just talk about it. It's so common. I mean, all the people we're talking about people, and literally 25% of them are people who've 25% are people that we know.
Yeah.
Like lost the battle with addiction. It's an allergy and a obsession and an illness, and it's just so much bigger than your rational brain.
Yeah. Well, Victor has one last question. I have two questions, and we want to respect your time. So, Victor, why don't you go
Sorry,
first?
I feel like I'm a jabberwocky. You're right. I never do press, and now I'm like, oh, do I get to talk?
Well, no, because I wanna like respect your time, because I know you're doing me a favor, and I want to keep on good terms with you, so you'll come back.
You're hilarious. Not a favor. You won me over, baby.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
Does that mean I could ask 2 more questions? No, I'm just kidding.
Baby, he's friend. That's it. Don't push your luck.
Okay.
Cute dog in your background there.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So you're genuinely hilarious. Have you considered doing stand-up or a one-woman show?
Stand-up, I think, is an art. I just think that is a different art form. And the people that I know who do stand-up, they are artists. I mean, there's no other word for it. It's such a genuine, it's a craft. Also, you have to work really, really hard. And I'm not willing to work that hard at it. And I'm not willing to live that life right now. But one woman show, I've written 2. No, I've written 1, really, 1.5. I don't know. I mean, I like doing stuff with groups, and I'm kind of like Keith. Like I'd rather talk to a group, like it's easy.
Yeah.
Hosted a marathon at Disneyland. It was such a weird, I mean, so many weird things pop into your life when you're like working TV. They're like, hey, do you want to go train with this Olympic runner and like lead the marathon? Like, I don't run. I hate running. They're like, well, you want to learn how? You could be like a person who, all right, okay. I don't want to look like a dude at the end of it. So I'm not going to run real fast, but I'll do it. I hosted, and there's literally 100,000 people like waiting to leave and I had to stand up on some podium with no script and like improvise whatever, my motivational thing of how we were going to get through the marathon. I'm supposed to be funny too. I don't know what I said. I didn't have a minute of like nerves. But if I had to go talk to one person and like pep talk them, I would have no idea what to say.
Oh my God.
So would I do stand up? I mean, probably not. Because I still have stand up nightmares.
Right.
You're standing up there and you're supposed to tell a story and be hilarious and have a beginning, middle, and an end. And I'm just like, I don't know. Do you want to hear what happened this morning with my dog? Like it's okay. It's not that great, but
I definitely want to hear
it.
That's our sitcom. I'll be like, Mom, I want to hear it. And then like, that's what it should be. You should be as a stand-up on the sitcom.
The thing that I had a practice husband, and he was a comedy writer, and he would do this thing when we were at parties where he would start to tell a story, right? And I'd hear it out of the corner of my ear. Can you hear something out of the corner of your ear? And I go, wait a minute. That happened to me, asshole. That didn't happen to you. He would be telling my story as his story, and he would get half of it wrong, you know? I'd be like, that's not what happened. And no shame whatsoever. So I always think that would be a good sitcom that like someone's telling a story and you're like, that's not how it happened, which is kind of like Grounded for Life.
Right.
I keep trying to bring back, by the way. I don't know why I just feel like that show could come back so easily.
Definitely. I think it should.
For
Definitely
sure,
should.
all the kids still live at home. I
Yeah.
mean, it's so expensive to live in an apartment or wherever in New York. They definitely all still live at home.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Kevin's up for it, Donald's up for it, I'm up for it. We're all up for it. Why
Let's
can't we
do it.
Because that
Yeah.
show was kind of like that. People would tell a story and then they'd go, okay, that is not at all how it happened, you know? And then that person's version of the story would be told.
Oh, that would be great. Victor, ask your last question real fast since Megan's in a good mood.
Oh, we'll just follow up to the one woman show, like a potential title, OG MILF.
Ah!
OG MILF. It's a short OG MILF. It's just 6 letters, 1 space.
OG milk. Mine would get
Uh,
the license plate. Oh my God. Don't you hate people who personalize their license plates? I'm always like, really?
Oh, yeah, that was the worst.
Oh my God.
Then I almost crashed my car because I'm trying to figure out all the different incarnations of what they're, you know, like I love word scrambles and stuff. So I'm always like trying to figure out what it is. Like,
Yeah.
Some of them are in different languages, though. That's what screws with me. Like sometimes, like the number 2 is you in Spanish. Tu.
what?
Yeah.
One's two. Oh,
Two.
you just have a whole new layer.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I teach Spanish also, and then during my sets too, apparently. Yeah, I wanted to ask you a question about sitcoms because you know there's this nasty, I don't know, inclination where that people suggest that sitcoms are dead and dying, and we'd like to know how you feel about that.
Okay, bad sitcoms should die.
Yes, agreed.
Agreed.
Yeah,
That's it. But look at it, like Curb Your Enthusiasm is technically kind of a sitcom. I mean,
Yeah.
which was also the most fun job I've ever had in my entire life, and the scariest job I've ever had in my entire life, ever. People were like, "How do you prepare?" I was like, "I just eat breakfast and sleep a lot the night before." I don't know. Yeah, their sides that they give you, there's no words on them. Like, there's no dialogue. They just say the gang piles out of the car. Oh, what?
So you have to do those groundling skills that you learn.
Yeah, and you also have to not talk too much and not try to be funny. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you have to accidentally be funny. But no, sitcoms are not dead. That is not true. Sitcoms also are what everyone in the entire country wants to see. It's
Yeah.
like I was getting my phone upgraded at AT&T yesterday. just there's a whole story for you. Halfway through, the guy goes, "You remind me so much of this actress. You sound just like her." And I go, "Really? Do I look like her? You know?" Oh, my voice sounds like her. Oh, how interesting that you've recognized my voice. Does this look like her? Like,
Yeah.
he was awesome. But he was talking about like, I just need those shows, like Rules of Engagement, like Grounded, like Friends, like whatever, Mad About You, the shows from a million years ago that you could just turn on, you watch it, you're definitely laughing 10 times.
Yeah.
And then it's over. And you don't have to watch the next one to find out what happens. It's a whole story. It's like a little mini play. And it's great.
Yeah.
Like,
I totally know what you mean about being recognized, though. I mean, even though I'm not like famous like you, I'm still an F-list celebrity. And so the like, say I go to a phone guy, store guy, and the phone store guy says, "Hey, are you the kid from 2.5 Men?" And I say, "Yes, I am," just to get a free phone. And then they
Mhm.
ask me all these questions. Like, "Oh, can you get Charlie Sheen to do my podcast?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm still trying to get him to do my podcast." Stuff like that.
add to that though. You need to add. When you- then you need to go. And mostly I'm interested in like what phone setup will allow me to watch the most hardcore kiddie porn. Because that's what I'm really into. I mean, it's like, no, not everyone can admit it. I don't care. Like people thought I was religious when I was on that show, but you know, they don't really know the truth. And I own it. I own it. I'm into it. So proud member of NAMBLA, and I just really want to make sure there's enough like firepower in this phone that I can get like XD, you know, kitty
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Well,
Just
Megan,
start going.
I have 2 more questions for you. This one's a joke question. You don't really have to answer it if you don't want to. But does Bianca owe you any favors?
Oh, I'm sure she does. What does she owe me? Well, she owes me a visit. Oh, isn't that so sweet? Does she owe me any favors? I don't think so.
Yeah, crap.
I know, it's so boring. I just love, I just love her. It's so boring to tell you that stuff. It's like I love Spade. Like I'm so sappy
Yeah.
when it comes to like the people that I adore. I just love everyone on that. I just talked to Athir, I don't know, a month ago, who was David's assistant on Rules.
Timmy, yeah.
I actually just texted David because his podcast is like, he's so sweet. He's actually himself. Like, I love all those people. It's such a boring answer for me when you
Yeah.
ask.
Well, because I was gonna say, if so, can you cash one in now? I don't know. But moving on. My last question. My last question for you is, if I was a genie and I could give you one wish, and you could wish for only something that could help you, not something that you want, like lots of money or future wishes, just something that could help you. What would you wish for?
A new knee.
A new knee.
Oh my God. I played tennis and did triathlons for so long that my fucking knee bothers me all the time.
All right.
It's so boring.
No.
Such an old lady answer.
I mean, hey, that's your wish. I mean, if I was a genie, I would cure your knee for sure.
You cure my knee. Oh my God, that's so boring. I actually want my dog to live forever. Can you do that? Because that's for me.
Yeah.
I do. He has to live forever. He doesn't understand that that's part of the deal.
Yeah.
Like, he came from the hard streets of Bakersfield like 2 weeks before everything shut down for COVID.
Yeah.
He's not allowed to go where you saw him. He's a mess.
Yeah.
He's like that to me. Oh, I can't. I have a hard time traveling without him.
My dog's like that too. And I think because I got him before COVID too, I think COVID, since everyone was locked in, it trains. I mean, this is just a theory I have. It trains the dogs that, hey, we're always home. So when we leave, it freaks this generation of dogs out. You know what I mean?
Well, you're exactly right. And the other piece of it that attaches onto that is when you're locked in the house with people, you realize how shitty the people are.
Yeah.
So then you're like, oh, people suck, dog always good. Like, it changes your bonding. Like, you become unbonded with all the humans in your life. And then it's like the animals are really the true love.
Well, Megyn, where can the folks at home follow and support you at?
I completely dropped Twitter when it became creepy.
Yeah, less fun.
Yeah, so now I do Instagram, which somebody took Megyn Price and they wouldn't give it back to me, so I'm Megyn Priceless.
Ah, nice.
That's great.
I was only posting pictures of like my cat, my food, my garden, and my manager said, you are never getting a job. So then I had to post pictures of myself in a bikini when I went to Mexico. So I was like, all right, fine. I'll do this dumb stuff. Because she's like, you're the only person who hasn't like shot a bunch of shit into their face or like, gone crazy, skinny or fat or weird or I don't know what people do to themselves when they go nuts. So she's like, you have to just like show up and take pictures of yourself. I hate taking pictures of myself. I hate all that stuff.
Yeah,
like, I'll do one.
Well, Megyn, thank you so much for doing this and for saying yes.
You can ask me. I can't give you a direct answer. You ask me a question and I give you 72 answers.
I loved every answer though. But thank you so much. I mean, I know, like I said, I know you don't enjoy doing press, but thank you for saying yes.
You don't know that I don't enjoy doing press. I don't enjoy doing most press. I very much enjoy doing
All right, Megyn. Well, I would
have to go text Patrick and tell him that I just talked to you.
Oh, definitely. All right. Well, Air 5 and
10, baby.
10 skin.
Thank you guys. That was so fun. And
All
I
right.
loved getting to talk about people that I love.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you'll do it again someday. I would love to have you again.
Absolutely.
All right. Bye, Megyn. Have a great day.
Bye.
Great talking, Megyn.
All right, guys. That was the episode with Megyn Price. Victor, I know you got to go. So we'll do opening remarks later. Guys, subscribe, rate, review, and we'll see you guys later.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee right here on LA Talk Radio.